Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of Drive and Review. Today we are in a fantastic 2011 Camaro 2SS RS. So let's not waste any time, let's get going. So already you can tell this thing is cammed to all living hell. Sounds amazing, feels amazing. Usually with these cars, they came with a fuel management system that Chevy put into them that actually turned off 4 of the cylinders to make it a more fuel efficient car for when you're not exactly using all of the power that you need. Now, the only problem with this is that when you have something like that, it actually limits the amount of opportunity you have to modify some of the cams or anything else in the car. So he actually took that out so that he was able to have that wider range of ability to put new cams in. So another thing I noticed is with it being the automatic, when you come to a stop, you can sort of start feeling it lurch forward a little bit, like it wants to go, and that's I probably would get bored of that after, I don't know, maybe like a couple days. But you know, this car just wants to go. You have to almost like stamp all the way down the foot pedal to make it stop. So some other cool things that are inside this car is that it has the heads-up display, which they added into this year, and it's really nice because you get the speed right in front of you where you're looking in the windshield, and you know, sure, it's not that hard to look down, but when you are focused on the track, let's say if you go on the track, you don't want to have to worry about looking at your speedometer, looking down away from the road. You want it right there. It is right inside of my field of vision. Now, one minor complaint I do have is the amount of room between my head and the headliner, and me being 6'2" really doesn't offer that much room. I can barely fit my hand above my head, so I can see how this could maybe get annoying if you're a little bit taller. So I'd say, honestly, if you're 6'3" or taller, unless you do something with the seat or like lean back and like the, you know, this kind of riding style, you're not gonna have a good time. So as far as braking goes, this thing just brakes on a dime. It is great. I mean, it's a huge, heavy car, which doesn't normally offer very good braking potential, but this thing, when you really want it to stop, it does stop exactly when you want it, which is nice. Alright, so now what I think everybody is probably curious about is, how does it feel going from 50 miles an hour to the speed limit? Shows how this car just has an air to it that just everyone really enjoys, and hell, I'm enjoying the hell out of it right now. So I mean, I can only imagine what John goes through every day. Everyone must just love it. So a common complaint I have usually about American muscle cars is that I feel like there's too much space on the dash. This one doesn't really have that problem. I mean, you know, I've seen dashes that extend maybe 1.5 to 2 feet out in front of me. This thing is maybe a foot-long dash, and the hood, it's not massive either. You can still see completely out of this window. Granted, the window is pretty narrow, but unlike other muscle cars that I've driven, this really doesn't seem to have that problem. So as far as how comfortable the ride is itself, now we're in Michigan, so the roads aren't great. So like right now when we're going over bumps, it's not the best. I mean, no car really is unless you have a stock suspension if the car isn't built to go fast. But really, you know, when it comes down to when you're driving on the highway or you're driving on roads that are actually good, this thing is very comfortable. It's very smooth. There's not much road noise really. Now, obviously, this car, not the best contender for when you're driving in the winter. It's obviously a summer-only car. Here in Michigan, we have some winters that really you can't do much with anything unless you have all-wheel or front-wheel. These cars don't work, so that is a downside for it being in Michigan itself. But every other season, this thing I definitely would recommend driving all the time because it's just so much fun. So as far as the interior goes, we are talking about an American car in the mid-range price, so while you do get leather, such as on the steering wheel, parts of the center console, the seats, there's a lot of other just plastic bits in here. I mean, you know, it's just how American cars have been going in the past few years. They really have abandoned the kind of European leather everywhere kind of looking. I know it technically does add some money to it, and maybe they can add it as a trim package to upgrade the interior. But as far as the interior goes, it's nothing stunning. It's pretty bland. Other than some of the dials down here that tell you some information, there really isn't much to it. It's not really what I would look for in an interior of a car. So overall, would I get this car? Yes, I would 100%. If I had a Camaro, this is what I would do to it. This is the type of build, the type of setup that I would be very happy to have for a muscle car like this. And just the aesthetics of it too, this car is great. And just overall, this car has so much to offer. You can do so much to it. You can have it naturally aspirated like it is now. You can put a supercharger on it. You can do anything you really want to it, and it will not fail you at all. I've seen some awesome Camaros and Corvettes, and anything Chevy really puts out is just so versatile. They're just great, and I mean, that's one of the benefits of having this type of car. At the end of the day, the downsides of this car, which very few that it has, should not be enough to dissuade anyone from getting this. And, you know, maybe you get the stock version, you know, that's fine. The modifications just make it even better, and on its own, it's still a great car, and there's nothing really other than the little things that I can say bad about it, and I can't do anything but to give it the huge stamp of approval. So I hope you enjoyed this review of this 2011 Camaro 2SS RS, and hopefully this is enough to persuade you to look into possibly getting one, which, you know, I highly recommend, and, you know, maybe sometime in the future I might do it myself. Thanks. See ya.